Each year, our extended family takes a trip together, 3 generations under one roof, always somewhere spectacular. This year, we're heading to Alaska. For 10 days, we'll explore its beautiful remote wilderness, we'll hike, encounter incredible wildlife, visit remote cliffside villages, and so much more. Come along with us on our family adventure through Alaska. Welcome to our family adventures. We are a family of 3 from Florida who loves getting outside and exploring everything that this big, beautiful world has to offer. From hiking in the mountains to kayaking in the ocean and everything in between. Come along with us as we take on our next family adventure. It's the middle of July, and we are so excited to finally start the long journey from Florida to Alaska. Our first stop is Las Vegas, where we have a 6-hour layover. Instead of waiting at the airport, we have just enough time to rent a car, drive through the Strip, and visit the Hoover Dam. It's less than an hour away from the airport, which was perfect. We were just impressed with how big it was, and the fact that it had a resident dog mascot during construction. According to the visitor center, it was the highest dam in the world when it was built. We wish we had time for the full tour that goes into the dam, but honestly, with the heat over 100 degrees, we're ready to just head back to the airport and continue on to Alaska. We arrived in Anchorage after 16 hours. The rest of the family is on the way. Gwen beat us to the house, overcame this combination lock. We welcomed Brett and Wes before settling into bed. Our first morning in Alaska, and unfortunately we already have some bad news. Bill and Sherry's flight was canceled last night, so they won't arrive till much later tonight. So instead, we're going to take the day to rest, enjoy the house, and explore a little bit of Anchorage to watch the World Cup final match. The kids are trying to find all the chickens, but we learned later that a bear visit may have had something to do with their disappearance. Overall, it was a good day to prepare for what was in store for us the rest of the week. Good rainy morning from Alaska. Bill and Sherry have arrived and it's time for breakfast at Gwenny's. Nope, Heidi's, because Gwenny's was full. Their reindeer sausage and grizzly bear pancakes hit the spot. We get in the rental cars and make our way towards Homer, about 3 hours away. Along the way, we stop at the Alaska Wildlife Conservation Center.
Hey, let's go see the bear.
The center provides homes for injured and orphaned native wildlife, and our first stop is to see this injured brown bear. The animals here are cared for by the center and will typically have their permanent home here with support from the Alaska Department of Fish and Game. Next, we see this muskox up close and personal, followed by this coyote, and then Marvin, the marten. And we really like this cute coati, which is a member of the raccoon family. In spite of the constant rain, the kids are having a great time seeing the animals. Alaska is certainly bear country, including this black bear being cared for by the center. This will certainly not be the last bear we see on this trip. Getting close to the end of the trail, next we see some elk with giant antlers. And finally, Lexi's favorite, a wolf. Back on the road, we continue on southwest towards Homer. And when we enter the Kenai Peninsula, the rain finally stops for the first time since we arrived in Alaska. Now this is the Alaska we were hoping to see. Blue skies, incredible vistas, including this volcano off in the distance. This is the beginning of Homer, at the southern tip of the Kenai Peninsula, and our home for the next 4 days. The rest of the family arrives first at the house and picked up pizzas along the way for us to enjoy on the back porch. No restaurant around could ever compete with this view. And after dinner, the kids burned off steam from their long car ride by playing in the backyard. A quick tour of the house starts here in the family room, then downstairs in the game room, and back up to the dining room with all these windows bringing in that natural beauty. Alaska has a lot of mosquitoes, and I am way over prepared with these bug nets. Kids, however, they couldn't care less. Another thing we're adjusting to is the constant sunlight. It's about 10 o'clock at night here, and it's still bright. This is the end of the famous Homer Spit overlooking Ketchimack Bay, which is actually not very far from the house. The Spit is a small strip of land that juts out into the ocean here and has a number of shops, restaurants, and marinas on it. Of course, one of the most popular things to do here is halibut fishing. Homer is the halibut fishing capital of the world. Another famous spot on the Spit is the Salty Dog, where you can get a cold pint after a long day. After a few beers, it's now 11 o'clock at night and the sun is still out when we leave the bar to head back to the house. Although it looks like Wes and Brett still have plenty of energy left. While the adults were out at the Spit, Lexi babysat the younger kids as they slept. But now, we were all ready to turn in for the night. Good morning from Homer. The kids are up and a pair of cranes stopped by to join us for breakfast. The whole crew is together today and we're heading out to see a very unique side of Alaska that most people never get to experience. We're going to a tiny, unique village that was built entirely on stilts along the steep cliffs in the bay. We're going to Halibut Cove, and the only way to get there is by this one ferry boat called the Danny J. There are no roads or cars in Halibut Cove, so everything is brought in by boat. Many of the homes and businesses are built right over the water, and the community here has a fascinating history tied to commercial fishing and artisans. Along the way, we pass Bird Island, which is home to over 20,000 seabirds. The birds come here in the summer to nest away from their predators, and it's home to our absolute favorite seabird, puffins. As we pull into Halibut Cove, you can see some of the homes of the residents here, who are mainly commercial fishermen and artists. The buildings on the left are actually housing for the seasonal employees that come to work at the Sultry restaurant, where we're going now. The Sultry opened in 1984, and the building itself was actually floated into the cove on a barge and lowered onto pilings during a high tide. We were all feeling great after eating the delicious meal of oysters, salmon, and fresh halibut with the whole family. This place is so serene, even the sea otter's enjoying life here. We have some time left before a return trip to Homer to explore the rest of Halibut Cove. There's a great boardwalk that traverses the entire village with stops at an art boutique and a coffee shop. This is the Tillian home and one of the founding families of the village. We stopped for some coffee to warm us up, took some photos, and then spotted this bald eagle nearby. The ramp back down to the dock is extremely steep and even more dangerous and difficult in the rain. We're just in time before the Danny J casts off for the return trip. Back in Homer, on the drive to the house, we see a huge moose on the side of the road. A little while later, Ashley and I see a whole family of mooses. Moose, not too far from the house. Chef Wes then cooked up another amazing dinner, and it's time for bed. Okay, this morning we're leaving the road and civilization behind and heading out into the Alaska wilderness. We're on a water taxi leaving the Homer Spit and going to Ketchimack Bay State Park across the bay. The water taxi will then drop us off on the beach near Grenwick Glacier Lake Trail. Brett, Wes, and the kids join us on this adventure while the rest of the crew explores Homer. We wave goodbye to the water taxi and look around on the beach to see, well, nobody around. We have our bear spray at the ready just in case and a plan in place to get to the pickup point later in the day. The hike is about 5.5 miles and will take us to a glacier lake only accessible by foot. It's mostly flat, so it's family friendly, but this is our first time in the backcountry on this trip, so we were all on high alert looking for bears. Sightings are common in this area, so of course we had to follow bear safety rules and make noise so we didn't surprise any of them.
You want to think about? I've got 20. But who cares? No big deal. I want more. Up where they walk, up where they run, up where they stay all day in the sun. Wandering free, wish I could be part of that world.
No bears thanks to the singing and the girls repeating, "Can I get a chee-hoo?" But Brett did get attacked by a mosquito. After around 3 miles, we made it to the glacier lake, which was even more spectacular than we expected. The lake not only had a glacier at one end, there were giant floating icebergs in the glacial blue water. This is a perfect place to stop for lunch and take a break. We can't stay too long though, because our water taxi time is approaching, and if we're not there when it comes, we'll have to find our own way home. We have about 2 miles left in the hike, and that includes hiking over a ridge to make it down to a beach to get picked up. It's rained off and on throughout the day, so the trail is now getting pretty slick. Now the kids have been doing great hiking, but our balance will be tested here soon as we climb down this steep embankment. And Brett is doing all this in sandals because her hiking boots broke this morning. We eventually make it down to the bottom of the ridge to the beach, where the water taxi will pick us up to take us back to Homer. Right on time. And I think Annabelle and Lexi really enjoyed the day. Back at the house, we quickly get cleaned up for a very special family dinner at the chart room at the Land's End Resort. Bill is treating us to king crab, an Alaskan delicacy, and it is melt-in-your-mouth delicious. It has been a great day, and now we're all exhausted. Alright, new day, and today we're heading somewhere pretty special. Well, at least we thought we were. Today is actually not going the way we planned, but we're going to make the best of it. It's extremely windy, so our ferry trip to Seldovia, another small coastal village like Halibut Cove, has officially been canceled due to high seas. So instead, we're just going to slow down, relax, and just explore the Homer Spit. We grab a cup of coffee to start the day, shop in some of the stores, visit an art gallery, walk the beach, spot bald eagles, and grab some lunch. You can see just how windy it is with these huge waves rolling in. We're actually quite thankful we're not in the water right now. After lunch, we head back to the house to just hang out. While the kids play outside, Sherry and Bill get the news that their missing luggage has finally arrived after being lost by the airline for several days when their flight was canceled. All in all, it was a good way to end the day. Today is the day. Today is the day we have most been looking forward to since we booked the trip. Ashley and I are going somewhere that is a true bucket list adventure, and it all starts with an hour-and-a-half flight on this float plane. Lexi stayed back with her cousins and the rest of the family, while we are going to one of the most remote national parks in the country. Katmai National Park has the largest population of brown bears of any national park in the United States. And with an estimated of over 2,000 bears in the area, we are in for an experience of a lifetime. We're flying today with Bald Mountain Air Service, a veteran company of 33 years of flying in Alaska. We're in their de Havilland Otter float plane, and we took off from Beluga Lake in Homer. We then crossed Ketchimak Bay, passing Augustine Volcano, flying over the Aleutian Mountains, and then eventually we'll land in a lake just outside the park. I have my eyes glued out the window the entire flight, and as we fly low over this ridge, the excitement starts to build. The weather has cleared out, and it is a perfect day with views of the Alaskan wilderness to match. Our experienced pilot lands us safely and softly onto the lake, and we are ready to start exploring. We deplane right onto the beach, and before I can even get my camera out, we come across our first grizzly about 50 feet from us. Before we could go any further though, we were required to attend bear safety school taught by a ranger here at the visitor center. We learned no food was allowed, and no matter what, don't run. Oh yeah, and no bear spray allowed. Graduation pin in hand, we quickly see why this place is so magical. The bears come here every summer to feast on the thousands of salmon here in the Brooks River. They can eat about 30 to 40 fish every single day to prepare for winter. Watching them from so close like this is just awe-inspiring. On one side, bears are incredibly fierce and dangerous, but at the same time, they look so curious and playful. I mean, this guy's even blowing bubbles in the water. We're not even 5 minutes from the visitor center, and we can't keep our eyes off these two. And for reference, you can see just how many salmon are here. Literally thousands. We kept saying to each other that this is just like an all-you-can-eat buffet for the bears. They're normally so territorial and fight other bears that encroach in their space, but with the abundance of food here, the bears just seem to get along with each other. I actually thought this one resembled our golden retriever when he goes swimming. I mean, he's even shaking off the water like our dog. We finally pry ourselves away from the boardwalk and continue down the trail. And you'll notice there's absolutely nothing separating us from the countless bears roaming the area right now. That of course has us a little uneasy, but we're told by the rangers they shouldn't have any interest in us, and we're choosing to believe them. We're getting closer to the famous Brooks Falls. This is perhaps the most iconic and famous location in the world for bear sightings. Access to Brooks Falls is very tightly controlled, so we check in with the ranger and then head to the raffles platform further on down the Brooks River until it's our turn to visit the falls. This is where even more salmon make their way to spawn, and there are bears everywhere. Standing here, you just can't help but to be amazed that this is actually a real place. Hundreds of bears just come and go as they please and hang out in the water and feast. They all look so playful, but then, like this guy, catches a fish, rips its skin off, and devours it over and over and over again. The rangers told us they counted 21 cubs this year, like this one staying close to its mother. The 21 cubs doesn't even count the yearlings or teenage bears in the area. I know I sound like a broken record, but this is just incredible. It's been about 45 minutes, and we're off to see the famous Brooks Falls. And over there, friends, is going to come with us. Here it is. This is what we've been dreaming about since we first started planning the trip. It's hard to believe we're actually here, nearly 4,000 miles from home. This simple 6-foot waterfall creates a natural trap for migrating sockeye salmon, forcing them to jump out of the water and potentially right into a bear's mouth. Rather than having to hunt for food, these bears are just waiting for their food to come to them. We could stay here all day, but unfortunately our time here is up, so we head back to base camp. Our visit to Katmai isn't over just yet though. We're now back at the mouth of the Brooks River, and there are still plenty more bears to see. And in just a little bit, we're going to see a family of bears get a little closer than we ever expected. And this is the beach on the lake where we landed this morning, and it's about 200 yards from the mouth of the Brooks River. You can see all the float planes that are visiting here today on this absolutely gorgeous day. Back at the boardwalk again, and we can see this mama bear taking a break from eating. And these two checking out the fishermen nearby. And what happened next is something we will never forget. Just as we were walking back, this mama and her 2 cubs walked right next to us. What a way to end the visit to one of the most incredible places we have ever seen. And to top it all off, I was able to ride in the right seat on the flight home. We take off for our hour-and-a-half flight back to Homer under blue skies and visibility for miles. All of this land is part of Katmai National Park. We only saw a tiny fraction today. Soon we'll cross back over the Aleutian Mountains and see some mountain lakes and make our way over the Ketchimack Bay. As we start to descend back into Homer, the winds are picking up, giving us a little bit of extra bumps. We'll pass pretty low here over Homer before turning back on ourselves to land on Beluga Lake. We pass by another float plane and land safely and softly once again. We would absolutely recommend this trip to anyone without hesitation. Sure, we wish Lexi was with us, but we're happy she's just enjoying the day with her cousins when we pull up to the Grizzly Ridge Lodge at Cooper's Landing, where we'll spend the rest of our trip. So after everything we did yesterday, you'd think we might slow down, right? Nope. Today, our family will join Gwen, Brett, Wes, and all the cousins on a rafting trip down the Kenai River. Xander and Annabelle are all geared up and ready to go. Unfortunately, Rory is just a bit too young for this trip, so she's staying back with Bill and Sherry, and they're going to go explore the nearby Princess Lodge. We're now off on a 2-hour journey down the river, which is mostly calm, but there are a few small rapids along the way. Everybody's holding on tight, but not to worry, our guide tells us that the only person to have ever fallen overboard is a man who fell asleep. Now, if you see the small white rapids off in the distance, those are actually a family of harlequin ducks that are common in this area.
Bald eagles like these are actually very common in Alaska, and we ended up seeing them everywhere. The Kenai River is most famous for all the fish swimming upstream for the season. Some fish include king salmon, sockeye salmon, silver salmon, and giant rainbow trout. It's a very popular place to go fishing. Now we are getting out of the water. It's time to go back to the house and play with the cousins. We enjoyed playing tag, going on the swings, and going down to the dock. See you tomorrow!
Waking up to views like this of the Kenai River never gets old. We often see rafters and people fishing right off the back porch. Wes made breakfast again, and then we get the entire family together to make the 1-hour drive to Seward. Seward is a port town located on Resurrection Bay and is the gateway to Kenai Fjords National Park. Today, Seward is our launching off point for a boat tour to see glaciers and even more wildlife. Our tour is supposed to take us just around Resurrection Bay, which is beautiful by itself, but we have quite a surprise in store for us a little bit later. This is Resurrection Bay. Its deep water creates this incredible environment, perfect for marine life and views like these. We have a lot of ground to cover today, so our boat is moving at a pretty good clip. And Xander and Gwen join me on the front deck to take in this impressive scenery. Our first stop is Fox Island, which is the home of the Kenai Fjords Wilderness Lodge, a completely off-the-grid, all-inclusive eco-resort with no electronics or cell phone service. We hang out here at our tables while some passengers get off to check in for their stay. And there are mixed feelings in our group about whether we want to add this place to a future visit list. Leaving Fox Island, we continue along the shoreline and spot this cove with sea lions hanging out on the rocks. There's also a minke whale popping its head up around here too. We all have our heads on a swivel, but unfortunately I wasn't able to get it on camera. Most of us did see it though, but not everybody in our group did.
Why am I missing the whale? He's like in that cove.
You know,
This way? We went back down.
We all kept looking, and finally we all saw what the captain called the stinky minke, because they breached so unpredictably. It was right about here that our captain told us he had something special in store for us today. Like I said before, the tour normally just cruises around the bay, but the captain said he's going to speed up and head offshore. We're going over 20 knots now, and the water is over 900 feet deep. After around 20 minutes or so, we make our way out to the deck and start scanning the ocean. What we see next is another spectacular Alaska moment we will never forget. We are right in the middle of a huge pod of orca whales. We can see them breaching all around us in every direction. Everywhere we look, we could see the spray of yet another whale. This was yet another bucket list item checked off for many of us on this trip. Our detour offshore is coming to an end, and now we pass this World War II observation post on the way back into Resurrection Bay. I can't imagine how miserable it must have been to be stationed up there during Alaska's harshest weather. We next very quietly come up on a group of puffins, appropriately called a circus. They eventually see us coming and dive for safety. This one wasn't waiting around and took off for higher ground. Resurrection Bay actually got its name in 1792 from Russian fur trader Alexander Baranov, who was navigating a nasty storm in the Gulf of Alaska. He found safe shelter in the bay just as the storm broke on Easter Sunday, and therefore he named the waters Resurrection to honor the holiday. Resurrection Bay is home to tens of thousands of seabirds, including 2 species of puffin, the tufted puffin and the horned puffin. There are also common murres, cormorants, and of course bald eagles. Most of the seabirds that we are seeing ride the open ocean for the majority of their lives and only touch solid ground to breed and raise their chicks. Finally, we pull into Humpy Cove here for a quote-unquote shower from the fresh water running off of the cliff. The crew now hands out fresh baked chocolate chip cookies to thank us, and we head back to the marina. Dinner and drinks are at the Tidewater Tap House, and then we're going to walk around Seward. The kids get matching puffin shirts, and then we notice the fishing charters have come back in for the day. This halibut is absolutely massive. The crew had to move it around in a wheelbarrow. The rest of the family headed back to the house, but since we're in Seward, Ashley, Lexi, and I wanted to quickly see Exit Glacier. Back at Grizzly Ridge, we wind down yet another unforgettable day with a family dinner and great conversation. Another perfectly beautiful Alaskan morning here on the Kenai River.
We're at the 1.5. Looks like the trail splits here a little bit. To get up to, I think that's Slaughter Ridge. Looks like somebody had a campfire. There's a lake down there. Not really sure how to get to it. All right, this is hard, very hard. Do a different video showing you the up that I have left. All right, this is the up. I have been dragging on this one. It's been up the whole way. However, at 1.5 miles, it turned into this ridge, which is at least pretty. We'll see if I can get to the top. This is the trail. That's where it goes up. I don't think there's much different at the very top. And I am done. So we're gonna go down. And I think I'll go much quicker down.
As you saw, Ashley hiked the Slaughter Ridge Trail today, while the rest of us hung out at the house and took it easy. We said goodbye to Brett, Wes, and the girls this morning, and the rest of us had one last special meal at the Princess Lodge. Beautiful evenings like this at Grizzly Ridge each night has been another highlight of the trip. On the back porch, Ashley will share exactly where she hiked today.
Looks like I went right about here. So if we zoom in, look for that little patch of trees. Right there. Two little Christmas trees. Over to the left of that patch of trees is about where I stopped.
Good morning on the Russian River Anglers Trail. Russian River Anglers Trail.
Black fight back. So that means if it's a black bear, you stand your ground and get big and you go "Rawr," and you pretend to be a bigger predator because you are. And then if it's brown, lie down, you act dead. And if it's white, good night, which means you don't.
Unfortunately, it's our last day in Alaska, and it's going to be a long one. Ashley, Lexi, Xander, and I are starting the day with an early morning hike along the Russian River, and we'll end the day with an overnight flight back home. We plan on getting a nap in later, but for now we're keeping our eyes out for salmon and bears.
This is where the Russian River and the Kenai River come together. We hiked the Russian River, which is there. There's Xander and Mike. And here's Lexi. Russian River. Here's the crew.
This was a relatively short hike, but it followed the river the entire way. We saw several people making their way from the trail onto the river to start fishing. With checkout time approaching fast, we pick up the pace and drive back to Grizzly Ridge one last time. Arriving back at Grizzly Ridge to pack up and head home. Saying goodbye to Grizzly Ridge. Obviously, this place is absolutely stunning. Its location can't be beat, and we highly recommend this to anyone considering a trip to Alaska. One last stop at the market next door for shirts and to steal one more look at Alaska's natural beauty. We have some time to kill and notice our flight is already delayed, so we take a detour to the Byron Glacier Trail. While we were driving back to Anchorage, we all agreed that there was one more bucket list item to do before heading home. We wanted to actually hike on a glacier. Located just outside of Anchorage, the Byron Glacier is easily accessible with about a 2-mile round-trip hike.
Smile! There's the glacier.
At this point, I think we checked everything off of our bucket list and then some. Unfortunately, Bill and Sherry's flight home was canceled, so they'll have an extra day in Anchorage. But in spite of that, this has been one of our absolute favorite family trips to date, and we are so incredibly grateful for our family and the opportunity to come together once again.